already moved in our directions. And now the question is, will you make me a priority? Will you move in my direction? Now, listen to what Jesus said in this next passage, okay? I want you to flip with me if you're with me. Just one chapter over. We're 400 years later, and we're in Matthew, and we're in chapter 6, okay? Chapter 6. Now, this is a repeat text that we've already talked about, but I want to look at these verses again, and now I want to look at them with the word priority in mind, okay? So we're reading something we've already read together, but now we're going to look at it with the word priority in mind. And again, this happens 400 years after what Malachi just told us. This is incredible, okay? Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. No one can serve two masters. Yeah, duh. In other words, there can't be two number ones. It doesn't work. There can only be one, all right? And all right, so he goes on. No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and he will despise the other. God says, either I am going to be number one on the list, or you're going to be number one on the list. Either I'm going to be on top and you're going to be on bottom, or you're going to be on top and I'm going to be on the bottom. But you've got to make a decision in this area. You cannot serve, and hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. He clarifies this though. He says, the way to get me on the top is the rest of the verse. Verse 24 at the very end. He clarifies. He says, you cannot serve both God and money. Oh, so if I'm serving me up here, me here, America, we there, me here, God there, who's my master? Right? And God says, you've got to flip this thing. We're going to work on that, all right? So God says, either I'm going to be on the top, and you're going to be on the bottom, or vice versa, but I've got a plan for you. Okay, so Jesus says, there's a conflict, and for me to be the master, the ruler of your life, you've got to put me first in the arena of your personal finances. Not just in your prayer life. That's pretty easy to do, okay? Let's admit. In your prayer life, it's not, you don't have to, most of us in this room don't have to sit around and say, I wonder who I should pray to today. Okay? That's not a challenge for us. And not in the arena of our time, although giving our time is significant and there's a challenge there for us to do that, God's not talking about that. He's talking about what we're talking about right now. And now I want you to skip down for the sake of time to verse 31, okay? So don't worry, saying, what shall we eat? Let me read this a different way, okay? Don't worry, saying, what shall we eat? Let's read it this way. We're going to flip the W, turn it upside down, and it's more relative to what's really going on. So don't worry, saying, what shall me eat? Or what shall me drink? Or what shall me wear? Right? Because, listen, how many of y'all have been in this situation before? You've got to tell somebody, and you don't want to be the only one saying it, so you use the word we instead of I. All right? That's what's happening right there. That's exactly what's happening right there. And now, in verse 31, he says, you got to put me on the top of the list, because I am so worried about me that I don't know, I can't trust you to take care of me, so I got to put me on the top of the list. And God's saying, hold on. Jesus says, you're so worried about that other stuff that you're throwing me on the bottom, and I'm the one that's got the answers to this. People who don't even believe in me, as we see in verse 32, have that same priority list. Look, verse 32. For the pagans, those are people that don't even believe in God. For the pagans run after all these things. People who don't believe in God do this. And your heavenly Father knows that you need that stuff. Okay? He doesn't listen to me. God doesn't want you to be poor. God doesn't want you to be destitute. God knows you need things. God knows that there's real needs in your life, that you need shelter, that you need clothes, that you need food, that you need a place to get back, way to get back and forth to work, that you have wants and desires. He knows that, but he's saying, listen, don't let those things get above me, because I know you need that, and I'll provide that if you put me first.